My predictions for the latest Disney Pixar film Soul were completely incorrect. The things that I thought I'd love were not as great, and the things that I didn't think I'd like that much, I actually truly loved. But I have to say, the film itself is just really brilliant. I watched it on Disney Plus. It's great fun, and honestly, it's one of the best Pixar releases in a long time. So this was released this year. It was released on Christmas Day. It's directed by Docter and Kemp Powers, and it's got an absolutely fantastic cast, and it's won several awards already. And primarily, it stars Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey. I'm a very big fan of Tina Fey, so that was a plus for me. But before I even knew she was voicing in it, the premise sounded amazing. So I'm going to read the description from IMDb, which is one sentence and spoiler-free. This says, a musician who has lost his passion for music is transported out of his body and must find his way back with the help of an infant soul learning about herself. So this musician is voiced by Jamie Foxx, and he's called Joe. And something happens to Joe about 10 minutes in, and he finds himself in what looks like the stairway to heaven. But it actually turns out that it's kind of where you go before you're born to get parts of your personality traits. Kind of like when you're making a new sim in The Sims, and you have to select the different personality traits that you'd like for your character. Basically, the concept is exactly the same. And while he's there, he somehow finds himself mentoring this infant soul called 22, voiced by Tina Fey. And the majority of the film is about him, first of all, trying to work out how to get back to his life, and also trying to help this 22. And also reluctantly doing it because he doesn't want to do it. And as the film progresses, their relationship grows, and they both learn things about themselves and about what life really means. Now, I'm not going to tell you how it progresses, and I really wish I could, but this is spoiler-free. But there's something that happens. I will just say there's a cat in this, and I didn't know the cat was going to be in this, and if you'd said to me, this is what happens, and this is a character, I would have thought it wouldn't have worked, but it completely worked, and I absolutely love it, and I thought the cat character was just a fantastic addition that became a lot more prominent than I would have expected, and I truly enjoyed it. But how that cat gets involved, I'm not going to tell you. So I truly loved 22 and Joe as characters. I thought they got on really well, or when there was conflict, the conflict was really effective and felt really believable. Obviously, the voicing was incredible. So I'll go through the cast in a moment and just pluck out a few names. But I just want to say, first of all, the thing that I thought I'd like the most would be the scenes where we have these, what I initially thought were ghosts. And I guess they are animated spirits that don't yet have their bodies. And I thought I'd prefer those scenes. The animation quality is adorable, they do look great, and it is really, really fun to watch those. But I actually preferred the scenes with the people when they were back on Earth in New York and Joe was a man rather than this little ghosty spirit. And I thought it would be the other way on for me, but actually I preferred it on Earth. But both sides are great, but for me that was just a really big surprise. And I also thought there'd be a lot of music in this because it's about a jazz musician. Joe loves jazz music and he wants to be a successful jazz musician, but at the moment he's just teaching. And in the beginning there's quite a bit of jazz music, and towards the end, but in the middle there's not so much. And I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of jazz. So I was actually kind of pleased that it wasn't just an hour and a half of jazz music. I think they peppered it across quite nicely, gave it enough that it had that flavour and that soulful quality. But not so much that if you don't particularly like jazz music as a genre, it's not going to be off-putting. So the cast. Oh boy. Okay, so Graham Norton voices Richard Ayoade, several others. I'm not going to actually go through all the list. I think it's best if you head to IMDb. But for me, the cream of the crop is and always will be Tina Fey. But Jamie Foxx did a fantastic job as well. And I think they hit the nail on the head. Their comedic timing was brilliant. It's not the most hilarious film. But then I find that Pixar's tend not to be overly comical, laugh out loud funny. They're more warm and fuzzy and inviting, and that is 100% the case here. Visually, it's gorgeous. The editing, the animation quality, it's all beautiful. The soundtrack is nice enough for me as somebody who doesn't really like jazz music that much. The characters are wonderful. The voice acting's great. It has won, as I said, several awards already. It won the Best Score at the Florida Film Critics Circle Awards, Hollywood Critics Association winner for the Artisans Achievement Award, the Indiana Film Journalists Association Best Animated Feature, and Best Vocal Motion Capture Picture Performance. It's quite a mouthful. And a bunch of other nominations, and it's out just in time for the Oscars, and I think it will do very well. It's a brilliant narrative that really looks at, first of all, finding your passion in life and finding out who you are, but also learning to appreciate the small things. I think through Joe, we have this journey of finding your passion and learning to do what you love. And with 22, it's all about discovering the small things that make us happy, like pizza. I really wanted pizza after watching this. It's beautiful. It's a lovely film. I think it could have ended 10 minutes sooner. But other than that, I have no complaints. It's one of Pixar's best releases ever, to be honest. And honestly, Soul, I cannot recommend it enough.